Hi everyone. Today I'm going to do vine and leaf stringers. In this one, I'm going to make two different stringers, and in this one I am using pea green, so I'm going to make a lighter green stringer and a darker green stringer. So this one is pea green, and I have it punted up on the end of a transparent rod just because I didn't have a whole lot of pea green available. So I am just striping on about a 1/2 millimeter, 3/4 millimeter grass green rod right now, and I'm going to stripe various colors on it, different greens, and then maybe a little brown to give some variance. You can also use black, transparent black works really well in these stringers also. And so I got my grass green on top of the pea green. And you don't have to be too precise with these because these are very organic stringers, so you don't have to worry if your stringer is wobbly or what have you. It'll pull out pretty straight anyway. So now I'm applying some brown color, and so I'm striping that on. I only put like 3 stripes of that. And now I'm going to add some transparent green on top in various places on these stringers. Some might cover up the green or brown stringer, and some are in between. It's just to add a little more depth, a little more variance into the stringer, so just place it wherever you want it. And I'm going to punty up to this with the same transparent stringer so I could pull it out and twist. And so of course I have this sped up so you don't have to watch a lengthy process. And so I'm just melting in all that stringer first, get it all nice and soupy, ready to pull. And you're just going to twist and pull out the stringers. And there I go, pulling it out. Heating it a little more. I started twisting at first and then I heated a little more. And I'm going to keep twisting and pulling. And so here is the stringer. It's kind of hard to see in this video, but hopefully in the beginning picture you could see it better. Okay, and here's another sped up video. I'm doing the same thing with a dark, it's like an olive green. It kind of looks blackish in this video, but the green will really come out when it's cooled down. So I put 3 stripes of brown, just like on the first one. And now I'm going to put some stripes of the same pea green color, a lighter green color on this one. So I'm putting some of that, and then I'll put a little bit of transparent green also, just to add a little depth and variance to it. And so now, as soon as I get enough stripes on here, I will heat it up and pull it out into a second stringer. And then I'm going to actually make a bead using both of these stringers. I'm going to use the lighter stringer for a vine and the darker stringer for like little leaves coming off the vine on the same bead. So make sure this is heated up really well. Sometimes, especially darker greens, are a little picky, and they don't like to pull out in stringers very evenly. So just make sure you're heated well. And start pulling and twisting. And so I should have a close-up of this stringer, even though it's not totally cool. You won't see the color as well until it's totally cooled off. But it's kind of there. See the variance in the twisties. So now I have a barrel, and this is a like a red coral color. It's a really pretty color, but it looks kind of blackish grayish in this picture. But it should look really nice and have a nice contrast with the greens. And I am going to swirl on some vine stringer. And so as you see, as I'm swirling it around, I'm moving the bead a little more than I'm moving the actual stringer. and my torch is really, really tiny. You could see I have a very low torch because I don't want to melt that stringer into just a big glop. So I move the bead more so than the stringer to paint on those little swirls. It takes a little practice, but you can get used to it after a while. So I made my little swirls. I made 3 little swirls, and now I'm going to speed up the video again so you don't have to see all this melting. And I'm going to leave these slightly raised, and but I want to make sure that every edge, and you see I'm using a tool to help push down a little bit, every edge has to be fully melded in with the base. You can't have any little undercuts or indents between the stringer or your base, because later it could crack off. So you want to make sure that's all nicely melted in. And you could also see there I was like trying to shape a little bit. If you need to like pull out, you want your curve to pull out a little bit more, you can pull out the stringer and reshape a little bit with tools. So now I have it slowed down again, and I am going to place a leaf. And how you do this is you heat up your leaf stringer, nice ball, and you push directly down on it and then pull. So you're actually pulling with the stiff part of your stringer to pull out the leaf shape and taper it down. We'll do it again. It's a ball, push, and pull out. And I went on an angle there, as you see, made the leaf curve. So you could do that too. So you could pull it out straight or make it curve a little bit. You want to make sure you get those points afterwards on your leaves to come out. And one more time, it's push it in and then drag down with your stringer. And then pull out that little point. Try to get a nice tip to your leaves. And then I push it down with a tool. And now we are going to speed up the video again. And so you could see me putting more leaves on. So I'm just going to finish off this bead, so you don't have to sit there and watch all the time it took to make it. But so I made that leaf go upward, as you see. And I'm just looking around and trying to find, you know, gaps that need to be filled, where to place another leaf where it's needed. And so I place all these leaves on. Make sure the tips are pulled out. And then I want to make sure that they're all melded in fully, just like the vine stringers. I want to make sure there's no undercuts between the actual leaf and the base of the bead. You want to make sure it melds fully in at least a 90-degree angle, because if it undercuts underneath it, that's where it can actually crack off. And so I'm doing that, and after I'm done with the leaves, I thought I needed a little more color, so I'm using a simple encase stringer from the first of my video series. This is white over, purple over white. And so I'm just putting like little berry dots all around. And I do this last because the dots are so small that they melt in a lot faster. So I can meld these in without really worrying about melting in my stringer or my leaves all the way. If I put these on first, they would have melted totally in the bead and spread out, and I don't want that. I want little tiny raised berry dots. And so this is all sped up also, and so I'm just trying to find little gaps to place it where I want to place my little dots. Making sure it's all filled up enough, there's enough of that color variance in there, and then I'm going to heat these up. So the dots can use a little more general heating, as you see, but in like some little instances I might want to heat it up in a specific area just to make sure all the dots are melted in enough, and they won't pop off either. And see, I'm getting that one little section that's in the center of a vine. And my flame is really low, as you could see. I'm trying to work very careful so I can just get certain areas heated and not the whole bead. And so once you're happy with your design, you're pretty much done. And I'll show you a little close-up. It's not totally cool yet, but you get the picture. Thanks for watching.